What's going on, people? It's Matt Perry here, and I hope you're well. Today, we're going to be doing a video that I haven't done on this channel. And when I was younger, I used to play Football Manager quite a lot and used to play it like every day. Now, I still play it quite a lot, but I don't necessarily play Football Manager every day. But when I was a teenager, I was obsessed with this game. And obviously, everyone in the footballing world knows what Football Manager is. But I haven't seen some of these videos been put up for a while. And obviously, I haven't been following the Football Manager community that much for a while either. Last time I was really invested was a couple years ago, but other than that, not really. But I'm going to be doing an experiment today. So the new updates have just come out. Shout out to Sorts who have done these new updates. They have put the new Premier League, the new League One, all the other leagues, what's it, promotions and relegations, and some of the transfers that have happened, even though it is beginning of June, so there hasn't really been any transfers. There's been outgoings and people that announced they're going to be outgoing, but the transfer window isn't fully rolling at the moment. But there's obviously a lot of rumours going on around. Anyway, I am digressing. So uh, I am taking Hull City, and I'm going to see what happens with Hull City in terms of whether they're going to whenever they're going to stay up, they're going to get relegated, or they're actually going to do way more than what I thought. So this is an experiment on how Hull City may do in 2026, 2027. I have given them a transfer budget of £50 million, and I've also given them a transfer budget of just under 300,000 more than what they had when they originally started on here. But the reason why I've done that is because Hull City, in replacement of Southampton, managed to get into the Championship final and win the Championship finals. So they are going to be in the Premier League next year, and I've given them a transfer budget just for them to mess about with. I'm also going to be messing about with the settings by letting the assistant manager do all the transfers and the backing, and also the board are going to be taking over the training and whatnot. I'm going to be simulating until two times. I'm going to be simulating until December, and I'm also going to be simulating at the rest of the season to see how Hull City do, who they sign, who they sell, what their results are, how they do in the cups, and are they gonna go down? Like, what I probably think, and a lot of other people think they're gonna go down. Are they gonna just survive, or are they gonna do a bit more? Like, especially with the transfer budget I've given them, it gives them a little bit of flexibility to be able to end up doing that. By the way, because if you don't know Football Manager, this is Football Manager 2024, and this is set in 2023, obviously. There is a way that you can change the date so it's more update, but I don't know if that's available for 2026, 2027 yet. But anyway, I'm Mac Perry, and this is the Whole City in their season. Next season, what happens to them? Let's go. Right, and we are back. So I don't think it's gone very well. So we are currently 20th in the league. And we're just about to have our next match against Arsenal. Obviously, you won't see that because I'm going to sim until the end of the season now. But let's have a look at Hull City's first half of the season. So we've got transfers going on. Have we made any signings? So 34 million. Yes, we have made some signings. We've made some interesting ones as well. Okay, so Cole Joseph has joined an undisclosed fee. Elliot Matazu. I don't know if I totally butchered that name. What's it? John Egon from Sheffield United has been it's been signed for 4 million. Paddy McNair has been signed for 5 million. Kieran Dow has come in on a free. Liam Miller. I recognise that name. I think he might have played in the Championship or something. He joined from Basel for 1.3 million. Cody, what's it? Dramar, Dramare. Yep, he's signed for 400k. Semi Jaya. Sorry, some pronunciations. It's just how I am. Can't pronounce them all. 1.5 million. Matt Crooks on an undisclosed from Real Salt Lake. I nearly called them Real Salt Lake for some reason. Ollie McBurney has joined on a permanent. He has joined for 1 point, not 1 point, 17 million. Cassie Palmer has joined on an undisclosed. Akin Fenwo, 50k. Ryan Gills for 5 million. James DeBeo for free, and Mohammed um, Belemi, yeah, sorry, has joined on a free as well. And these are some of the and these are the list of interesting signings that have been done. Jacob Greaves has, yeah, he's left for Ipswich. I think he was already at Ipswich. Anyway, but you have a look at some of these players that have been sold. We'll sit Greg Docherty, Aaron Connolly. He was obviously sold anyway. So I think some of these players have like gone, but we'll have a look at their budget now and see what actually they did. So they managed to generate 100 million. So how did they actually really spend any money this summer? Because I don't think there's necessarily that amazing signings. Like in regards, I think like that's just their team. Has it been? But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, let's have a look at what they've done. So in their games, it hasn't gone very well, is it? There is absolutely no wins for Hull City. Like there's a couple draws, but other than that, Hull City in the first half of the season have managed to not win one game, apart from a Carabao Cup victory against Blackburn. So Arsenal at home, 3-0 at home to lost to Arsenal, 1-0 away at Liverpool. Be interesting to see what the stats were on those particular games, but it hasn't gone very well, is it? A 2-0 victory at home to Manchester City, 5-0 away or sit against Newcastle. It's not very good, and there's not many. They haven't scored many goals as well, so this could be like one of the biggest like downfalls of any Premier League club in history. Obviously, this is hypothetical. We know that Hull City will probably do a little bit better than this. They will get a win at least, but it's not going very well. But Crystal Palace, they lose. They lose to another newly promoted team, Coventry, 2-1, despite taking the lead in the 45th point 2 minutes. A 5-0 victory was it for Brighton away from home? Obviously, not away from home, at home. Obviously, I'm going to be happy about that because Brighton, yeah. So Leeds, a 2-1 home defeat against Leeds. Let's have a look at some of the more like noticeable ones. 5-1 away to Brentford. Yeah, like the problem is that they do equalize or they do take the lead sometimes, but they're just not managing to hold on. Their team's clearly not good enough to sustain itself in the Premier League at the moment. Um, and then Ollie McBurney gets himself a goal. Ollie McBurney seems to be a regular scorer. Obviously, no goals in the home, in the away defeat. Obviously, a Brighton fan, so I'm gonna check the Brighton ones. Uh, Losing 2-0 to Bournemouth, 4-0 away at Tottenham. So yeah, that hasn't gone very well. But they managed to get a 3-3 draw, and they're only their second draw this season against Manchester United. Like, how did that happen? Okay, so we're having a look. Jadon Sancho, obviously, I don't think he's not going to be involved in Manchester United next season. Bruno Fernandes was sit on 7. I think is Bruno Fernandes is leaving. So I think that I think he's leaving anyway. But that's happened. Then a 2-2 to come back to 2-2. Then Yoro managed to get a goal, and then Ryan Gills got himself a goal in the 75th minute. So they managed to get a point away at United, which if I was a Manchester United fan, and thank God I'm not, what's it? I would feel very embarrassed by that thing. But it's Like it happened. 2-0, 2-0 loss, and then the 0-0 to Ipswich, who obviously another promoted team. So it hasn't gone very well, was it? And now we're going to have a look at the league table. We know where they're going to be in the league table. They're going to be bottom, yeah, the 20th. So, like with only 2 points, so it's not great. But let's have a look at what they've done. So there are two losses, two draws, sorry, and 18 losses. But Brighton are down there. Tottenham are top of the league. That is quite saying something, considering that real life they finished 17th. They're Brighton. Like they should be where Brighton are, but it's clearly gone a different direction. Roberto De Zerbi is doing a good job, at an outstanding job actually. With Arsenal second, they're challenging for the title again. Liverpool and City third. Palace with a massive gap over Brighton, a 22-point gap over Brighton. Chelsea, Brentford, Manchester United, Forest, Leeds, Fulham. So at the moment, Brighton are the closest in the relegation battle with the newly promoted clubs. But it's it's mad. Who is well, I mean, there hasn't necessarily been a lot of goals for Hull, so I wouldn't necessarily see it there as well. I'm just going to check Brighton's see if Brighton have like their top goal scorer. No, they don't have their they don't necessarily have their top goal scorer, but it's not looking very good. We're minus 37 goal difference. But there might be a chance that it can pull something back. You don't know. Games are a little bit weird sometimes, so we might see if whenever they do pull something back. So yeah, we're gonna sim into the rest of the season. So it's the final day of the season, and it hasn't happened. Since January, it hasn't really improved in that regard. So we're gonna have a look at the results and see who scored and everything. So just before we're going to look into how they did in the new year, obviously they lost a game to Liverpool. Raheem Sterling at Liverpool. That's interesting. I think he's used to bell conditions at the moment. What's it? And then they played Arsenal with a 7-1 victory to Arsenal. Yeah, it didn't look like they had any chance in that match, as they haven't had many chances. And then a 7-0 victory to Manchester City. Yeah, that's not looking great either. But they managed to get a win against Newcastle, which was very interesting. Paddy McNair got a win got that goal against Newcastle to get them only their third league victory of the season. And then they lose to Palace, but they managed to get another win, and that was against Coventry, 3-0. Ollie McBurney, Paddy McNair, who seems to be scoring a lot of goals, and Ryan Gills managed to get a win, but here's where the wins deteriorate. A 6-1 victory for Leeds United. Um, Aston Villa win 2-0. They managed to pick up a couple draws, and fair enough. And then a 4-2 victory against Brighton. I'm not happy about that personally, considering how bad they've been against everybody else. But Icardi plays for Brighton. That's insane. That's actually insane. I don't know how Brighton ended up doing just yet. We'll find out how they did. But that includes 7-1 victory and another two 5-1 defeats. 7-1 defeat, I mean, by the hands of Bournemouth. Um, you've also, yeah, those 5-1 defeats. Chelsea winning 5-1. Ipswich winning 5-1 at home. That's a massive loss, considering that they probably are relegated at this point. And a 1-0 defeat against Fulham. But they managed to get their fifth victory of the season, and that was a 1-0 victory away at Everton. So I think they won 5 Premier League matches. Obviously, we need to figure out how that compares to real life, even though this is a hypothetical, and obviously this is not true. But I want to see whenever they made any January signings. So we have a look at their January history to see if they actually made any more signings, and it doesn't look like they made any more signings. It doesn't look like they really did that. So um, I just think that yeah, they're just really bad at what they were doing. We can check to see if they have their goal scorers. Let's look into their squad and then maybe we can see who are their top goal scorers. So their top goal scorer, he was out on loan. So their top goal scorer, Kamara. Um, Ollie McBurney was their top goal scorer with 6 goals. Paddy McNair got the goals. Omar Miller, Belomi, how you pronounce his name. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't really a lot. He got 5 assists as well. Oh no, 2 assists. But let's have a look at the actual Premier League table and see what has happened. So Tottenham Hotspur won the league. Jesus. Tottenham Hotspur got won the league. Man City in second. So Liverpool, Arsenal dropped off a little bit, but Liverpool finished above Arsenal. So in a hypothetical sense, they're not retaining the title. Bournemouth got Europa League again. Crystal Palace got Europa League again. Chelsea, obviously that would be Europa Conference League, but I don't think they got that spot. But Brentford got their Europa Conference League spot after finishing in real life compared to a hypothetical season. They got their Europa Conference League. Man United went from third to 10th. Aston Villa went from fourth to ninth. Nottingham Forest went from 14th, 15th. No, it might have been 16th or something to 8th. So they just missed out on European football. Leeds, Fulham, Newcastle. Newcastle with another impossible. If we're judging this from real life, that's another disappointing and very bad season for Newcastle. Sunderland were closer to relegation, but they still remain in the Premier League. Everton, another relegation battle would look like, but they survived it. Ipswich managed to keep themselves up. So Brighton and Hove Albion got relegated. I'm not happy about this at all. And luckily, it's hypothetical, and I don't see this happening in real life. But who knows? At the end of the day, this is like anything can happen in the Premier League, and I think we need to realise that actually, like, we're not prone to not going down at one point, but it is what it is. They go down with Coventry, and then Hull City with a measly 16 points. Not the worst in Premier League history, obviously, but it's still not very good. 4 wins, 4 draws, and 30 losses. Let's have a look at the top goal scorers to see if Hull got in any of these. Obviously, no. Thinking about it, no, they didn't because Ollie McBurney only got 6 goals in the league. Um, but how did is there anything in terms of assists or anything? I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't. So how many goals did they concede, and how many goals did they score? So Brighton, obviously they scored 33 but conceded 67. But let's have a look. So 26 goals and conceded 101. 101. They conceded 10 goals to Arsenal. Arsenal scored 5 goals. Oh, no, 7 goals. And then I think it was a 3-0 victory or something for Arsenal in another game. So, but it's a very typical thing to think that Brighton's loss to Hull City was the game that took Brighton down by the looks of it, because they were better on goal difference to Ipswich, but Brighton have been relegated in this hypothetical sense. Even though this is based on Hull, I also just want to have a look. Igor Tudor took charge of Brighton Hove Albion. Obviously, we'll have a look at their players. So we got Rafael Guerrero. I know this is turning into a Brighton video as well, but I also wanted to check Ricardo Pereira. Oh, he's been playing in the Championship. It's not necessarily the best player that you could sign. Is a Cabarro. Brian Gruder was out on loan again. What's it? Yari, Harry Howe, Icardi. Who did Harry Howe go to then? Harry Howe, 19 years old now. He went on loan to Norwich and scored 16 goals for Norwich. That's not too bad. Mauro Icardi, how was Mauro Icardi now? 33 years old. He was at Galatasaray and he decided to make the move to Brighton. But anyway, I'm digressing. The video's not about Brighton, it's about Hull City. And Hull City have gone down terribly. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. We were hoping that Hull City were able to pull off the Great Escape, but unfortunately, this isn't what happened. Anyway, I'm Mac Perry, and see you later. Bye bye.